Turn us off, turn the key and cooler on. Push a pause for relief. Free pass, you don't even have to ask to be the cat in the sun. Someday I will see the whole deal through today. I've got better things to do, okay, to leave a little bit undone and be the cat in the sun. Be the cat in the sun. Set aside every empty spreadsheet line and loosen up on the grind.
Hello and welcome to a cozy knitting vlog. My name is Céline and I hope you enjoyed that little snippet from our trip to Oxford over the weekend. I love a good day trip. I've been on quite a few lately just because in the last year I've worked really hard to keep busy, and little day trips was one way I would do that. I'm happy when I'm busy because it makes me feel as if I'm making the most out of existing. However, it's super easy to forget how important and enjoyable it is to just exist without doing much. It is quite rare that I get to enjoy a slow morning, so as you saw in the beginning of the video, today I made sure to spend some time with myself and enjoy the silence and the coziness of my own thoughts. It was a very simple morning. There was nothing outstanding about it, and yet it was so good. The simplicity of it was super yummy. So I'm sending good vibes to you in hopes that you can also experience this feeling during your next slow morning. And let me know in the comments, what does your ideal slow, simple morning look like? It better involve knitting. Speaking of knitting, I did something fun to one of my old knits the other day, and I wanted you to witness it. So of course I filmed everything. Let's see what I got up to. All right, so a couple years ago, I knitted this piece, which is the Olive Cardigan by Knitting for Olive, and I love it. It's gorgeous. I think the overall leaf motif pattern is so dainty and elegant. However, I never wear this. I may have worn it a couple times right after I bound off, but in 2024, I don't recall ever putting this on, which makes me super sad because I genuinely would love to wear it. It looks like there's this strange green undertone that just doesn't do it for me. So I thought I would give it a second chance by dyeing it. I popped over to the store to pick a shade. Ended up going for the wine color. This is the brand that kept on popping up when I was Googling dye for wool, so I'm just gonna trust it. I already know it's gonna be really messy, so I'm gonna do this on my balcony, and I'm gonna be wearing clothes that I really don't care for because I feel like this could really stain everything. But then I hope the color will really attach to the garment and come out as true as possible to this shade on the bottle. Since I knew that I was going to dye, I also decided to make some adjustments that I had been I just realized that my microphone died, so I'm not going to be using that. Since I knew that I was going to give this a makeover, I decided to also address an issue that I had been meaning to tackle for so long, and that was the bind-offs. When I made this cardigan, I was a total newbie, so I knew nothing about tubular Italian bind-offs or anything like that. So I just went for the regular bind-off, the one where you knit two and then you pass over one and drop it off the stitch. And that just gave me no stretch, made the whole sweater super uncomfortable, especially at the hem where I could barely bring the whole cardigan around me all the way. And I think that's also why I was constantly put off from wearing this cardigan, because I knew it was going to be uncomfortable, even at the cuffs. The other night I put my patience cap on, I lied down and took around 3 hours to unpick all the bind-offs. This has 2 strands of mohair, so it was really hard to unpick. I did that on the hem and on the cuffs, and I did an Italian bind-off, which is so much better. As you can see, this one has 2x2 rib, which means you can't directly go into 1x1 Italian bind-off. You have to convert it first. And I knew that I could do that because I had done it once before with my typical mohair slipover by Typical Bliss. So I just followed the instructions on that bind-off, on that pattern, and this is what it looks like. The finished look is so much neater. It's stretchy, it's super comfortable, especially on the hem. I can finally wrap the whole cardigan around my body, which is kind of the purpose of a cardigan. I think it's time to dye this. I've never done it before. I'm very nervous, but I'm so excited. Let's get started. Right, I have a bucket. I filled it with water. Let's do this. I hope I'm not gonna ruin the cardigan. Add 1 teaspoon of liquid dish detergent. I'm gonna eyeball it. For best results, add 1 cup of vinegar to dye bath. We're ready. Cardigan. I'm so scared. Oh God. Oh, why am I so scared of this? Okay, so I've been sat on the floor twirling this around for the last 30 minutes because that's what the instructions tell me to do. It looks like I'm giving this a wine bath. This is very fun. And my arm is very tired now. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse. I just took my hand out of the glove. The glove had a hole. Oh no, it looks super bad. So this is what it's looking like. I've just laid it down for blocking. The merino has become this true wine color. The mohair's fluff is very pale and sort of creates a little bit of a cast, but I guess we'll see how it'll turn out in the next couple of days. Once it dries, I will film the grand reveal. That will be towards the end of this video, so stay tuned. Well, it's time for lunch, so I wanted to share my 2 new favorite recipes that you should absolutely try. I take an aubergine and slice it in discs, and then mozzarella di bufala. I break it apart with my hands and plop it on the aubergines. Next, I cut some tomatoes in half and pop those on as well. Now put it all in the oven and get started on your crunchy chickpeas. So take your freshly washed chickpeas and mix in some extra virgin olive oil, smoked paprika. You're gonna put in some dried up rosemary and some salt, and finish it off with 1 to 2 tablespoons of flour. Mix that all in and then spread it on a baking sheet and also put that in the oven. And here you have my pizzette di melanzane, aka mini aubergine pizzas and crunchy chickpeas. Enjoy. Please send me a photo if you make this. Well, that was so tiring. I need to take a break. Obviously, putting a couple rows in my whip. I'm working on the Terracotta sweater by Knit. I've been eyeing this pattern for ages. There's something about it, especially in this white and black combination, that's so chic and elegant to me. I got to a point last week where I didn't feel like working on any knitting project if it weren't the terracotta sweater. It was a weird form of knitting slump. It was almost menacing. I'll point out how amazing it is to be knitting something that I really desire to make. This last month, I spent most of my knitting time working on my Suki cardigan pattern that I've just sent to testers yesterday. I really wanted to get the job done, which meant I couldn't prioritize my knitting. I couldn't prioritize my knitting wish list. It feels like my true knitting wishes have been oppressed this past month, so it feels incredible to be working on this project. Mr. Woozy had never been to Oxford before, so this past weekend we decided to take a trip down. Obviously went to the Oxford yarn store to see if they did have the exact shades that I wanted. I decided to go for it and treat myself, so let me show you what yarn I got. My main priority with this piece was the shade of the white. I was absolutely head over heels in love with the color of the samples. I was fixed on getting a very, very close match, if not the same exact color. So the main color for the body is Sandnes Garn Tin Pure Gint in the shade 2641, a super cool toned off-white. Some people may even look at this as a really pale gray. It's an icy white, and I'm pairing it with Sandnes Garn Tin Silk Mohair in the shade 2321. I purchased 5 skeins of each, and for the contrast colors, I got 1 skein in each quality, but for this one, I did something slightly different to the designer. So I went for the Tin Pure Gint by Sandnes Garn in the shade 1099, which is a true jet black, and I'm pairing it with the Isier Silk Mohair in the shade 30. They look so good together, and I'm pretty surprised to be saying this because black and white is not a combination that I've been attracted to in the past. So this feels really fresh for me. I'm just gonna take off the clip out of my head because it hurts. It's my first time working color work on the wrong side, which is interesting. I do love when I have to work the right side. It's just such a nice break from the wrong side, because on the right side I'll hold my main color Continental and then I'll flick the other one. But I'm really, really, really bad at Continental purling. So the way I work the wrong side is I just flick both with my right side, but that means I have to drop one color and pick the other one up, so it's a little bit annoying and a bit more fiddly, but it's still fun. I have not been this excited about it in so long. This is amazing. And yeah, now I'm working the little textured patterns. It alternates some texture and color work. I'm doing the next section, and you work that on a smaller needle. So usually you work with a 4mm and then you switch to a 3.5 for the patterned bits. By the way, how do you like my little Notion trinket dish? I made it myself the other day, and I filmed myself making it because one of my other favorite things to do, to watch on YouTube, are art vlogs, specifically from Uncomfy and Valerie Lynn. It's so comforting to watch those cozy close-up shots from Tammy making polymer clay sculptures or Valerie painting. So I wanted to try and recreate that, although I'm so bad at both pottery and painting, so please don't expect much, okay? I had such a good time making my little Notion trinket dish. Huge thanks to this month's crafts who sent me their pottery box to try out. That's what I used to make this trinket dish. They are kindly sponsoring today's video, and for the occasion they sent me their embroidery box and their woodworking box to try out as well. I'm so excited for them because I've always been a huge hobby person. Growing up, I tried origami, designing my own stickers, bullet journaling, wreck this journal, nail art, makeup, cross stitch, literally everything. Sadly, I've grown up now, so I don't have as much time on my hands. Also, my main hobby is knitting, which can be super expensive. So in general, I tend to stay away from trying out new hobbies despite the insane urge I have. Clearly, I was very excited to receive the boxes from this month's crafts, which meant I could try out new hobbies without breaking the bank, because that's the best thing about it. It's just they're very affordable and you don't have to spend a load of money trying out new hobbies because you need so many tools to begin with, you know? In case you wanted to try it out as well, I'll leave a link for you in the description box so that you can get 20% off your first box, or you could also use the code Woozy By Céline 20 at checkout. I use my trinket dish while I'm working on a project. I call these my live notions, the ones that I keep on reaching out for every 2 seconds as I'm working, so that I can have them at hand without having to put them away every time to keep it tidy. I think I'm gonna knit now. I started season 2 of XO Kitty last night because I watched season 1, but I don't know how I feel about it. Let me know what TV shows and movies you're currently watching. I still have to finish Gilmore Girls. I'm on season 7. Spoiler! I ruined it for myself because I wasn't expecting Rory and Logan to be together by the end of season 7, but then I saw the Netflix cover shot for Gilmore Girls A Year in the Life, or the year after, what's it called? A photo of Rory and Logan, so clearly they're still together. I spoiled it for myself. All right, let's get knitting. Before I warm my soup up, I just wanted to place an order on Wool Warehouse because I'm going to be test knitting the Flow Knit Skirt by Moonchain. I already have 7 skeins of Drop Spell in the shade black in my basket. And then I added the elastic, which reminded me I really want to make the My Favorite Things knitwear skirt number 1 at some point. So I might as well already get the elastic for that, which is a 40mm wide elastic. And I'm not sure whether I should get it white or black. My skirt's going to be like a medium dark gray, so I'm assuming I should go for the black. Yeah, I'll go for the black. Let's place this order. Apple Pay. Order placed. Amazing. I'm very happy for that to come in because I've never knitted a skirt. It's going to be my first one. Right, so my olive cardigan has dried and I'm wearing it underneath this blanket, and she is stunning. Just to refresh your memories, this is what it used to look like, and this is what it looks like now.
나연히 내게 보낸 reels 하나둘씩 클릭해보는 너의 생각들 yeah. Look at me baby.
I wish I would have done this sooner. It turned out so good. I love it so much. And I think that the color is way more flattering. Just put some life back into my face. It for sure aligns with the colors that I enjoy in this period of my life. I made it when I was really into a lot of beige, and now I don't really wear much of that. I love color a lot these days. Yeah, I just think it looks really nice with dark hair and with my shade of blush that I use. It's gorgeous. I love it. One technical takeaway that I'd like to share now that this has dried is that if you're also dyeing your wool knits, I personally wouldn't recommend swishing it around the bucket in the dye bath the same way I did. In the instructions, it said that you're meant to continuously stir it slowly for half an hour, but I wouldn't recommend that with wool because you might risk felting it. The only reason I think I didn't felt mine is because it's made in superwash merino. But on the other hand, the mohair feels a little bit different. It hasn't necessarily felted, but it's definitely gone a little bit. It still feels really nice, so I was lucky. But yeah, next time I wouldn't risk it. But overall, I really recommend you dye your knits if you think that that can extend their life. I love how the mohair took on the dye way differently than the merino. Just creates this gorgeous dimension that would be so hard to replicate, and it's very, very unique and special, and I really feel like this cardigan is one of a kind now. Of course it was before because I hand knitted it, but now even more so. It's so fun. I have this belt from Gallo, which I think looks super cute with it, and I tried this with my hot pink shoes. It looks so good, you know, just a total navy and then pink berry outfit. It's just chef's kiss. Now I'm going to leave you because we've booked a visit to the Illusions Museum just to get out of the house and see something different, because why not? But don't worry, I will take you along with me. Good day. It's a few days later and I wanted to give you a whip update. So this is where my terracotta sweater is at. Let me try it on because I want to show you what it looks like. Little tip: to stop your makeup from transferring onto your clothes, you gotta put them on with your hair over your face. This is gonna look a little funny. The hair will act as a barrier and you will not stain the beautiful white yarn with foundation. All right, so this is her. Obviously this is before blocking and I have a stitch gauge of 24 stitches, but according to my swatch, this fabric opens up to 22 stitches after blocking. So I think it's gonna grow and relax quite a bit. But I must give you a warning in case you want to make this sweater as well. In the pattern, the designer states that this piece is meant to be worn with a positive ease of 20 to 28 centimeters. But I don't know if that applies to the sample she wore for the pattern photos. It looks like to me she's wearing a way bigger size to obtain a much higher positive ease than just 28 centimeters. Even if she does say in the pattern that the sample she's wearing does stay within the recommended positive ease bracket, it kind of looks like it doesn't. So the fact is, I went into this thinking I was going to make a very oversized sweater. So if you look at how deep my drop shoulder is, and then look at the designer's Obviously, there's a significant size difference, and I was pretty bummed about it in the beginning. But then I did some reflecting, and I decided to take it as a sign from the universe. I wear oversized all the time because it's so comfy, and I'm generally one to prioritize comfort over aesthetic. In actual fact, it's not necessarily what looks the best on me because I'm quite small. So I thought, hold on, maybe this regular fit will complement my figure better than my usual oversized pieces. And so that sat really well with me, and I became actually quite happy that I wasn't making it oversized. I have been loving knitting this colorwork, and I also adore the fabric that results from all the floats and stuff. I'm pretty sure I did a mistake in this textured bit and did an extra knit row somewhere, but I kind of don't care. I'm not gonna unravel that. Are you kidding? I like to be chill with my knitting and let things go. Unless they're really obvious and bad, then obviously I'll unravel. I'm super proud of myself because I'm weaving in my ends as I go, so I won't have to do that at the end when I'm done. What do you guys do? Do you weave in the ends as you go, or do you keep it as your last step? Or do you leave them there? Is there anyone that just leaves the ends dangling? I'd love to know your weaving in the ends habits. I feel like I had a lovely, productive week with my knitting, especially dyeing the cardigan and re-knitting that collar on that sweater that became too loose. So yeah, I feel a nice little sense of achievement about my knits, and I hope this encourages you to also tackle some of your old knits that need fixing somehow. In the meantime, make sure to let me know what's currently on your needles. Also, what have you been really enjoying wearing lately, and what are your knitting plans for the month of February? In case you'd like to follow real-time updates of me making my terracotta sweater, I'll leave my Instagram on screen so we can connect on that, and you can also see the other things I'm knitting. And I wish you a really lovely week. Thank you so much for sticking till the end of this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.